stern in judgment, smile on us. You look down on actors, and who doesn't? Bless this yearly festival and smile on us. We offer you song and dance. We offer you rights and revels. We offer you grace and beauty. Smile.
You never know. I might. Now you look like the slop you're writing. Stop. Drop the love stories that are just like the stuff everybody else in this town writes. And stop trying to write about New York. You don't know anything about it. Now you get back to work, and you write about Mrs. Next Door, and the hair washing, and the vegetable garden, and the backyard, and the bees, understand? And you write the way you talk to me, and then send your stuff into Cecil Reeves.
Reeves? Cecil Reeves? Of the Earth? Are you kidding? He wouldn't dream of looking at my stuff. And besides, I don't really remember it being any of your business, now was it?
Well, you know, you brought me up here, kicking with your heels, and singing at the top of your lungs. I couldn't work. So, it's really your fault if I've stuck my nose where it doesn't belong. How often do you wash your hair?
What?
Your hair. How often do you wash?
Every 6 weeks or so was enough back home in the country.
Not here. That's all very well for the country, but it won't do in the city. Once a week at least, and on the roof. Cleanliness demands it. And you're not going back to the country. I can see it in my crystal ball.
Get it dry?
Yes, thank you. There was a man up here. A very tall, very thin, very rude, very, well, that is, nice, youngish, oldish man, in slippers and no collar. I wonder what he...
Oh, him! He don't show himself except once in the blue moon. Not even has a tendency to know he's up here. And the whole top floor to himself shuts himself up there weeks at a time writing books or some such trouble. That guy, he owns the building.
Owns the building? Owns the building, but he looks...
Sure, that's him. Name's Reeves. Cecil Reeves. Say, ain't that a devil of a name?
Yes, it is. Another perfect day. Odd, isn't it? Being here in Rome together. After all these years, you mean? Too many years. The time passed so quickly. We're so young when we were here before, and now we bring our daughters. They're the young ones.
Yes, and we are old and widowed.
And widowed. Yes.
What do you think of those usually? I'm familiar with your expressions. I've seen them for years. You've got something on your mind.
You're familiar with my expressions, Grace. That's exactly what I was thinking about.
Oh, don't talk, Bill. We're bored.
May I get anything else from you?
No, thank you.
Ma'am?
Nothing for me either, thank you.
Very good then. Enjoy the sunshine.
That's what we're left with. Sunshine. We're expected to amuse ourselves with. Sunshine.
You kids think it's hard, I think. This is the most beautiful view in all the world.
It always will be to me, but even this beauty is lessened when seen through the eyes of a widow.
Do you miss him that much, Alita? I am sorry.
I don't want your pity, Grace. I dislike being a widow. This is just an absence. Being the wife of a famous lawyer, I got used to his absence. But even then, I had social demands. As his widow, I have none. Everything has changed.
Not quite everything.
What did you say?
We're still together, you and I. Together as young girls, and now two widows together.
Living on the same street, taking holidays together, leading parallel lives.
We grew up together, married at the same time, bought houses where people of our social set bought houses. We did what was expected of us.
Maybe that wasn't good always living so close. I mean, I couldn't buy new curtains for the parlor without you knowing the exact moment they went up.
We both wanted to live where it was fashionable. We created the lives we thought we wanted to live.
Oh, I'm not complaining about the neighborhood, just my neighbor.
Well, come along, Jenny. Let's leave these young ones to their knitting.
Oh, look here, Babs. I'm not actually knitting. Well, I mean figuratively. After all, we haven't left our poor mothers much else to do.
Barbara, come here.
She heard you. They must still be in the restaurant. Hush. Coming, Mother.
That's what did ours think of us.
None of us individually. We must remember that. That's just the idea of all mothers.
Good afternoon, Mother. We were just leaving.
And where are you two off to this afternoon?
Those two Italian aviators we introduced you to have invited us to Turkinia for tea. Does that sound exciting? Flying to Turkinia for tea.
But Jenny, you barely know them.
It's a perfectly proper invitation.
They seem nice enough when you met them, Alita.
Oh yes, they are nice. So very nice.
Is that what you two think of? Young men and romance?
What else is there to think of wrong? We have enjoyed the art and architecture. Yes, the architecture is most interesting.
As are your aviators, I'm sure.
Don't encourage them.
I remember what it was like to be young.
And what was it like, Mother?
Oh, don't tease me, Barbara.
I'm not teasing. I'm just surprised you had a romance in Rome during your youth.
Enough! I never said I did.
We better go. They'll be wondering where we are.
And when will you be returning, dear?
We thought we'd wait and fly back by moonlight.
By moonlight.
Oh yes, it'll be a beautiful adventure. Where else could there be a more perfect place to have an adventure than here, in Rome? It will be wonderful. Please don't worry, Mother.
I'm sure they'll be fine.
All right. Go then, have your adventure.
Thank you. Goodbye, Mother. Don't forget to take your tonic tonight.
I won't forget.
Goodbye, Mother.
Goodbye, dear.
Imagine, flying in moonlight. Come on, Jenny.
I envy their energy. What shall we do the rest of the day?
I hadn't thought about it. Stay here, I suppose.
They're great at the embassy. Would you like to play a hand or two? I think our waiter is wondering whether or not we'll be leaving.
I'll cure him of one thing.
My friend and I very much enjoy Rome and would like to spend the rest of the day taking in this magnificent view. Would that disturb your services?
No, by all means, please stay. There is to be a full moon tonight.
Thank you. We will consider it.
Very well. If there is anything else you need, I'll be more than happy to assist.
Moonlight. Moonlight, what a part it still plays. Do you think our daughters are as sentimental as we were?
I've come to the conclusion that I don't quite know in the least what they are. And perhaps we don't know that much about each other.
Perhaps not. Perhaps we never did.
Remember how we used to think it so tiring to keep up with the girls? Now I can only think how boring it would be if we didn't.
You're barbarous after that young aviator, the Cambollieri boy. Don't look so innocent, my dear. You know she is. And she'll get him, too. Jenny would never stand a chance beside Barbara.
I think you overrate my daughter.
No, I don't. I rather envy you. Well, my girl's perfect. If I were a chronic invalid, I'd much rather be in Jenny's hands. But I always wanted a brilliant daughter. Never quite understood why I got an angel instead.
Bab's an angel too.
Of course, but she's got rainbow wings. I was wondering ever so respectfully, you understand, how two such exemplary characters as you and Horace had managed to produce anything quite so dynamic.
That was rather cruel.
I didn't mean it to be. Certainly don't think of myself as cruel.
This is a wonderful view. The sunset will be magnificent.
Aren't you afraid, my dear?
Afraid?
Of Roman fever, pneumonia. I remember how ill you were that winter. As though you always had such a delicate throat.
We're fine up here. Down in the Forum, it's deathly cold all of a sudden. But not up here.
Your mother used to frighten us with stories about your Aunt Harriet sending her sister to the Forum after dark. They were both in love with the same man, remember? The sister fell ill and died. Wicked Aunt Harriet didn't confess to it for years. It left quite an impression on me. I thought, there's no more Roman fever, but the Forum is deathly cold after dark. And the Colosseum's even colder and damper.
The Colosseum?
Yes, it wasn't easy to get in after the gates were locked. Still, in those days it was managed. Lovers met there. You knew that, didn't you?
I dare say I don't remember.
You don't remember? You don't remember going out one evening just after dark and catching a bad chill? People always said that expedition was what caused your illness.
Did they? It was all so long ago.
You had been out late that night sightseeing, hadn't you?
Perhaps I had. What does it matter? What made you think of it now?
Because I simply can't bear it any longer.
Can't bear what?
You're not knowing.
Not knowing what?
Then I know why you went to the Colosseum that night.
Why I went?
Yes. You think I'm bluffing, don't you? You went to meet the man I was engaged to. You went to meet Delphin, and I can repeat every word of the letter that took you there.
No, don't do this.
My one darling, things can't go on like this. I must see you alone. Come to the Coliseum immediately after dark tomorrow. There will be someone to let you in. Don't worry, no one will suspect. But perhaps you've forgotten what the letter said?
No, I know it by heart too.
That was the letter that took you out that evening, wasn't it? Out to meet my fiancé.
Yes, it was.
You knew I loved him, and still you went.
And still I went. I had to go. I couldn't not go.
Grace? Grace, are you here? I must see you, Grace.
Delphin?
Grace. Oh, dear, you're really here.
Yes, I couldn't stay away.
Oh, I'm glad you couldn't. Are you all right? Your hands are so cold.
Yes, simply nervous, I guess.
Oh, don't be. There's nothing to harm you.
It's so very dark and empty. Like we're the only two people left in all the world.
Wouldn't that be so bad?
You can't expect me to answer a question like that.
Oh. I don't expect anything. I only hope and wish.
You make wishes about me?
I have.
And do they ever come true?
Well, we're here together, aren't we? Alone, together.
Alone. Together.
And all because of a wish.
You make it sound like such an easy thing.
Well, it can be.
It can't, Delphin. I shouldn't even be here right now.
Don't say that.
It's true.
You make me happy, Grace. That's all the truth I need. Come walk with me through these ancient columns.
Like walking through time.
Yes, like walking through time. Given enough time, our little problems will cure themselves. Given enough time.
Alita will learn to forget you and forgive me. Can you promise me that, Delphin? Can you?
No, I can't.
There isn't enough time in all the world that can work that kind of magic, is there?
And what are my feelings?
You care for Alita. I know you care for her.
Not in the way I care for you. I don't love her.
You will learn to love her. As her husband, you will learn to love her.
You sound as if you want me to love her.
What I want has very little to do with anything.
You're just being loyal to a friend, is that it?
Not too loyal, or I wouldn't even be here right now. I'm not very nice, really. Maybe I'm not at all what you think I am.
You're a wonderful young woman.
How can you be so sure?
Why are you trying to anger me?
I'm not trying to anger you. It's confusing to hear your compliments, to hear you speak of your feelings for me when you promised yourself to Alita.
I promised myself too quickly.
That can happen, I suppose.
But you do believe me, don't you?
Yes, one can feel pressured, perhaps by one's family.
What are you saying? You haven't promised yourself to Horace Ansley, have you?
No, I'm promised to no one.
Don't lie to me. You told me that your mother has encouraged his interest.
You accuse me of lying?
I can't think of you with Horace. It sickens me.
My mother wants our marriage, not I. I'm not lying, Delphin.
I'm sorry. Please, forgive me. It's only my jealousy getting out of control.
Your jealousy. You must practice keeping your feelings buried, like I do every day. When Alita speaks of you, or shows me the flowers you send her, the notes you give her, or makes plans for your wedding,
I'm sorry.
there's nothing to be sorry about.
There is. We're both caught in some kind of trap. Can't we at least be honest with each other? I love you, Grace. Can you tell me that you love me in return? My handkerchief. Where did you get it?
I stole it from your jacket weeks ago. Stole it like a thief, isn't that pathetic? I wanted something of yours to hold.
Then you do love me.
Must you hear the words? I love you.
Well, what are we to do?
There's nothing we can do, I suppose.
Nothing. Nothing at all. What is it?
I thought I heard a noise.
There's nothing here. Must be your imagination.
We can't be seen together.
There's no
I can't.
Can't what?
I can't hide in shadows, Delvin.
Don't go, Grace, please. Can't we at least have this one night together? Walk with me.
Kind of you to call, Lita. Please, come into the parlor.
Thank you. I've been worried about Grace. How is she?
She's recovering. It's taking time, but she'll be fine. You'll understand if I ask you not to disturb her.
Of course.
She's been quite an ordeal.
As you have.
Yes, yes, indeed. Please sit down.
Thank you.
I know I've always been a little overprotective of Grace, but she catches cold so easily. Over the years, I became an extremely doting mother.
No one could fault you for caring for your only daughter.
But many have.
Ignorant fools. If she'd listened to you, maybe she wouldn't have gotten sick that evening. Whatever possessed her to go sightseeing so late in the evening? When I heard she set out like that, I could scarcely believe it.
I know, it just isn't like Grace, is it? I wonder if it was my fault after all.
Your fault. How can you possibly blame yourself?
Perhaps she was rebelling at me holding the reins too tightly.
Grace rebelling? No. I can honestly say she's never voiced any discontentment to me.
She hasn't, Lita?
Of course not.
That makes me feel so much better.
I'm so glad. Still, it is a mystery, isn't it?
Yes, I suppose we'll never know why she went out that night.
She hasn't said.
Not a word. She's been so vague. She'll only tell me that she felt she needed to get out for a walk. Then she apologizes over and over again, falling sick and become a problem to me. Can you imagine my poor sick baby apologizing like that?
How ridiculous. It turns my stomach. I mean, it wasn't her fault, the kind dear girl.
No, not at all. Shall I ring for tea?
No. I just wanted to check on Grace. I really must be going.
You've always been such a good friend, my daughter, and it has been such a busy time with all the wedding plans.
Yes, Duffin and I have been busy. Weddings are so complicated.
Not yours, dear. I meant Grace's wedding.
Grace's wedding?
Yes, the Horace Ansley. Didn't you know?
No, I didn't.
I don't understand. Did Grace tell you? Oh my. I hope I haven't spoiled the surprise.
Please don't think that.
Of course, with Grace being so ill, I realized you haven't seen her lately. But I thought she would have told you about Horace before.
She's spoken of Horace naturally. I just didn't know their relationship was so serious, though. Isn't this wedding a bit rushed?
Yes, I thought so myself at first, but who's to understand young love? Horace is a very nice young man, sure to be a fine husband and a success to Grace. I wouldn't dream of trying to persuade them away.
And when is the wedding to take place?
In a few weeks in Florence, actually. So I'm working so hard to get my darling's health back. Why, she'll be married before you, Alita.
I guess she will be.
It's all so exciting. You'd think I was planning my own wedding.
I'm very happy for Grace.
Is that the post? Will you excuse me a minute? We're expecting a letter from Horace concerning the travel arrangements.
Of course. She's marrying out of spite of me to get to the altar before me. Perfect little Grace after proof she doesn't even care for Delvin. But I know differently. I know the truth. Is that the letter you're expecting?
I think so. It's from Horace. Grace will be so happy.
I imagine so. I know how thrilling it is to me when I receive Duffin's little notes and his flowers.
How lucky you both are to be so young and in love.
Yes, we're both very lucky.
It's all so exciting. I want to open this myself, but I'll have to force myself to wait till Grace is through resting.
I really won't be keeping you. Oh, and perhaps you should...
What? What is it, dear?
I was just going to say, perhaps you should tell Grace you've let the cat out of the bag. Tell her I know about her marriage.
I hadn't I? I hope she isn't upset with me.
Not Grace. Why, she hasn't got a mean bone in her body.
It's so sweet of you to say, Lita. You've always been such a good friend to my daughter.
And she's always been a good friend to me. Please extend my congratulations to Horace as well.
Of course, and the best of luck to you and Delvin.
Thank you, but we make our own luck, don't you think?
What do you mean?
When it comes right down to it, it's best not to depend on chance. I've never liked depending on chance. I've waited years to hear you admit you went to see your pain. How dare you speak to me of your pain? What about my feelings? You betrayed me.
Yes, I betrayed you, and I've had to live with that. It hasn't been easy.
Don't look for any sympathy. You won't find it.
I didn't think I would.
Don't look away from me.
How did you know about the letter? I burned it once.
How did I know about the
That was the only letter he ever gave me.
And I wrote it.
The only letter.
Do you know why I did it, Grace? I want you to understand everything.
Why?
I found out you were in love with Delphin, and I hated you. Yes, hated you, because I was frightened of your quiet ways, your sweetness. I wanted you out of the way just until I was sure of it, that's all. I wrote that letter in a blind fury, thinking of your Aunt Harriet, perhaps. Of course, I never thought you died. Don't know why I'm telling you all this now.
Perhaps it's just because you've always gone on hating me.
Or because I wanted to get the whole thing off my mind.
And now you have.
You did your best to get him away from me, didn't you? But you failed, and I kept him, that's all.
That's all.
You care for him still. You married Horace so quickly afterwards, I was convinced you never really cared for Delphin.
I cared.
Young girls in love are so ferocious, aren't they? I remember actually laughing to myself at the idea of you waiting around, dodging at sounds, waiting for someone that never came. Of course, I became upset when you became so ill.
But I didn't wait. He was there at once.
Delphin, there. You're lying.
But of course he was there.
Well, how did he know to find you there? You must be raving.
I answered the letter. I told him I'd be there, so he came.
Oh, God. You answered. I never thought of you answering.
It's funny you never thought of that, considering you wrote it.
I was blind with rage when I wrote it. I wasn't thinking.
It's getting cold. We better go. I'm sorry for you.
I don't know why you should be sorry for me.
Well, because I didn't have to wait that night.
Yes, I was beaten there. But after all, I had everything. I had him for 25 years, and all you had was one letter that he didn't even write.
I had Barbara.
Welcome back to Moonlight Jazz on KCPR, California Public Radio. My name is Alan Palmer. It's 10:12 on a rainy Friday night, and we've got jazz records to see you through to the morning light. That piece you just heard was Ornette Coleman and Blues Connotation. From his 1961 album, This Is Our Music. Don Cherry on the pocket trumpet, Charlie Hayden on bass, and Ed Blackwell on drums backing him up on this classic piece. And before that, we had 4x5 by McCoy Tyner, Joe Henderson on sax, Ron Carter on bass, and the great Elvin Jones kept time on the drums. And we started off the set with a crazy piece of crazy from the late Charles Mingus, theme for Lester Young, from the great Mingus. We've got 2 minutes of business coming up, then we're on our way to Montreux with Miles and Quincy when they play the classic Blues for Pablo right after this.
Hi, Alan, right? We met last week. I'm Denise, new program manager.
Oh, right. Sorry. I'm terrible with names the first time I meet someone.
Oh, that's all right. I know about 100 new folks since Monday, so I'm having trouble myself.
Are you still working? It's pretty late.
Yes, I have to stay up to finish on paperwork, and then I want to go down to talk to you for a bit.
I'm on the air.
Right, yes.
Look, if you want to sit in on the show, just let me know beforehand. I try to keep a certain vibe in here.
Oh, yeah, totally. You've been doing this for a long time, and I wouldn't want to mess with your movie show. Like I said, I just wanted to chat with you for a minute. Wow, there's so many records in here. How do you pick which ones you want to play?
Well, you know, I work on the playlists all day, keeping in mind what I haven't played for a while, what fits well together what listeners respond to. Then I put it all together and make sure the transitions work and go on the air.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of work.
Well, it's only work if you don't love it.
Totally, it's like exercise.
Sure. Look, I'm back on in a minute, but I do the afternoon shift on Monday. We can talk then.
That's actually what I wanted to talk to you about.
My Monday show.
Your show in general. A couple of changes are coming down to the station, and I wanted to be the first to tell you before any rumors start to spread around.
Changes? What changes? Thanks for sticking with us on a rainy Friday night. Up next, we've got Miles Davis and Quincy Jones from the Live at Montreux album. A great introduction to the journey that was Miles live on stage. And after that, we've got something a little more modern, with Freddie Hubbard performing a track from his classic 1971 album, First Light. Herbie Hancock, George Benson, and Jack DeJohnette on that, and Ron Carter popping up again on the bass. Hope you enjoy them, and we'll be right back.
Wow, you know all of those names by heart.
I've been playing these songs for years, and before that, I was listening to them. What changes?
Well, as you know, the past few years haven't been too kind to public radio, both in terms of ratings and in finances.
Yeah.
The challenges of staying both competitive in an increasingly hostile market has forced the board of KCPR to explore new ways to stay relevant while maintaining its signature values.
We're changing formats. After 56 years on the air.
It's not so much as changing formats as to refocusing to concentrate on news and informational programming.
You've got to be kidding me. We're becoming a talk radio station? The board signed off on this. Bobby Hansen signed off on this.
It was Mr. Hansen's idea.
This doesn't make any sense. California has innumerable talk radio stations and precious few outlets for jazz.
I can assure you that this is a mission-based decision rather than a market-driven one.
That's fantastic. I want to talk to Bobby as soon as possible.
Well, he asked me to oversee the transition, so if you need to talk to anybody, you can talk to me.
The hell I can! You're taking my station away from me.
Alan, it's not that simple. Our market research indicates that people like the idea of jazz more than they like actually listening to. Honestly, not very many people can name a single jazz artist other than Miles Davis, and your encyclopedia of knowledge is intimidating, also horrible.
I'm not allowing the board of KCPR to make my playlists.
Our market research indicates that people want music that's more mellow, less confrontational, and requires little to no knowledge about its history and players. We'd like you to transition to smooth jazz.
Smooth jazz.
You know, Kenny G and such, which has a positive response in our focus groups. And the licensing fee is surprisingly low. We'll be leaving you on Friday nights and on Sundays. And the Tuesday slot is available at 4 a.m., so it's like it could be a freeform hour.
Oh, thank you so much.
And this is still in the planning stages, so keep playing your normal music and don't say anything on the air, please.
Sorry, that was Miles Jones and Quincy Jones from their Live at Montreux album. I'm sorry, I've just received some disturbing news that I need to share with you. As we all know, this has been an especially brutal time for public radio. We're being blamed for all manner of federal budgetary nonsense, while being hammered for being biased, liberal, intellectual, and all of the above. Through it all, KCPR has provided you with an alternative to the screaming street corner charlatans with their unending stream of depression, recession, war, and death battering you from every direction. But market research triumphs good intentions, and next week, KCPR will become a talk radio station. I've also been informed that the timeless, vital jazz music I've been playing all my life is no longer required nor desired by the marketplace, and that I'm to begin playing smooth jazz. Now, you may wonder what I think of smooth jazz. I think smooth jazz is to music as getting a rectal exam is to intimacy. In dentist's offices, elevators, and anywhere else you want to get the hell out of. If you held a gun to my head and said, listen to smooth jazz or die, I beg you to shoot me. But since I have no choice, in fact, if I had my way, I'd round up anyone who plays or listens to smooth jazz and set them on fire while their children watch. But since I have no choice in what happens to me or my music, I'm going to abandon my normal playlist and play you the strangest, most abrasive, and unlistenable jazz I can get my hands on, starting with side 3 of Miles Davis' acid jazz train wreck, Dark Nights. No melody, no tune, just 45 minutes of electric acid trip Dark Night of the soul freaking out. I wasn't supposed to say anything. Right. Sorry.
How could you do this? You just said anyone who listens to smooth jazz should be burned alive. On the air.
They don't need to be burned alive on the air. Just burned alive.
Do you know how rare this is? You were given every opportunity to express yourself and ask questions. The Tuesday slot was a freeform hour.
An hour. In the middle of the night. On Tuesday. Thanks for your generosity.
I understand. You've been doing this for what? 60 years? But times change, and Casey has to change with them.
And how? By spitting in our listeners' faces.
People like smooth jazz.
Because they're getting a root canal when it comes on.
Can you just play along, go to the station, and for your family?
Play along. Nobody who got anywhere got there by playing along. Miles Davis didn't play along. John Coltrane didn't play along when he recorded A Love Supreme. Charles Mingus, Charlie Parker, they didn't play along.
And look at where they are now. They're dead. Everybody you play music listened to by dead people and listened to by nobody who matters. Jazz is dead, just like poetry is dead, like painting is dead, like theater is dead. And the only people who care about any of that crap are intellectual elitists who'd be sleeping under bridges if they had to do honest work.
Then I quit. Any jazz station in the country can hire me in a second.
Oh, yes. You know jazz stations that are hiring right now? You know jazz stations that exist right now? Because I should know. Is it pay or pay, Alan?
Fine.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna go home, have a whiskey, and listen to some jazz. In the morning, I'll think about what I want to do with the rest of my life. And in the meantime, we've been on the air for the last 45 seconds, and I'm sure that the elitist intellectuals still listening will be happy to go sleep under a different bridge with their disposable incomes and advanced degrees. Hey, but they don't matter, right?
Its board of directors or corporate donors. So who's ready for some smooth jazz, right? Thank you.
Nice weather we're having. Well,
Oh, you may sit down if you like.
are you sure? I don't want to interrupt your reading.
Oh, no, really, sit. I really
talk. The light is too bad for reading.
Well, if you insist. No, you've got the stunniest girl I've ever seen. Honest. I had my eye on you since yesterday.
Yesterday?
Didn't know somebody was pulled over by those pretty lamps of yours. Did you, honeysuckle?
Whoever you are, you must understand that I'm a lady. I will excuse the remark you have just made, because the mistake was doubtless not an unnatural one in your circle. I asked you to sit, and if that invitation constitutes me being your honeysuckle, consider the invitation withdrawn.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. It's just that, well, there's girls in parks, you know, of course.
Abandon the subject if you please. Of course I know.
Right.
Now tell me about these people, passing and crowding each way along this path. Where are they going? Why do they hurry so? Are they even happy?
It is interesting to watch them, isn't it? The wonderful drama of life.
Yes, how fascinating they seem to me, rushing about with their pretty little dreams and their common worries. I come here because here only can I be near the great, common, throbbing heart of humanity. My part in life is past, or beating is never felt. Can you surmise why I spoke to this Mr.
Parkenstacker, and your name?
No, you would recognize it immediately. It is simply impossible to keep one's names out of the papers, or even one's portrait. This mat, this hat, and this veil, my maids, of course, are my only protection. They furnish me with an incog. You should have seen the chauffeur staring when he thought I did not see. Candidly, there are 5 or 6 names that belong in the Holy of Holies, and mine, being accident of birth, is one of them. I spoke to you, Mr. Stackenpaw.
Parkenstacker.
Parkenstacker, because I wanted to speak for once with a real man, a natural man, one unspoiled by the despicable gloss of wealth and social superiority. My parking life is fast repeating itself. What impulse me to tell you something? Well, I am very rich, and I wanted to understand why I am speaking to you, Mr. Stackenpaw.
Parkenstacker.
Right.
No. What do you do when you go down to the city? To Madison Avenue?
Oh, yes, well, I am just so sick of money, of wealth, of travel, of society. Oh my goodness. You do not know how weary I am of it.
I see.
A competence is to be desired, certainly, but when one has so many millions, that it is a monotony of that it calls. Drives, dinners, theaters, balls, dinners, more balls, followed of course by dinners and suppers, all with the gilding of superfluous wealth over it all. Sometimes the very tinkle of the ice in my champagne glass nearly drives me mad.
You know, I read up on the habits and customs of the wealthy class, and I consider myself a bit of a connoisseur on the subject. Now, I like to have my information accurate, and I had formed the opinion that champagne is cooled in the bottle, not by placing ice in the glass.
You must understand that we of the non-useful class depend upon our amusement departure from precedent. Just now, it is a fad to put ice in a champagne glass. The idea originated from a visiting prince from Tartary while dining at the Waldorf. It will soon give way to some other whim, just as this past week on Madison Avenue, a green kid glove was laid by the plate of each guest to be put on and used while eating olives.
I see.
These special diversions do not become familiar to common public, of course.
Of course. It's all quite fascinating. I've always wanted to participate or at least witness firsthand the rituals of the elite.
We are drawn to that which we do not understand.
I guess that's true.
For my part, I thought that if I should ever love a man, it would be one of a lowly station, a worker, not a drone, but claims of caste and wealth will prove stronger than my inclination. Just as I am besieged by two suitors, one Grand Duke of German Principality. I think he has had a wife. Some were driven mad by his cruelty and intemperance. The other is an English marquis, so cold and mercenary. I even prefer the diabolical nature of the prince. But it helps me to tell you these things, Mr. Parkinson.
Parkenstacker.
Of course.
You know, I don't know why you should bare your soul to a common man like me, but you don't know how much I appreciate your confidences.
What is your line of business, if you don't mind me asking?
A very humble one, but hope to rise in the world someday.
You have aspirations.
Oh yes, still so many things I wish to do.
I admire your enthusiasm. I can find very little to be enthused about, burdened as I am by the constant pleasures and diversions of my class.
Did you really mean it before when you said you could love a man of lowly station?
Indeed I did, but I said might.
Why only might?
Well, there is the Grand Duke and the Marquis to think of, you know.
What, you said it yourself, they're so cold.
I'm sure you understand certain expectations of a young lady in my position. But instead, I am besieged with certain expectations of family members. All the magazines remarked on it. If I were to marry a commoner, as we like to call them, but claims and wealth will prove stronger than my inclination.
I work in a restaurant.
Not as a waiter. Labor is noble, but personal attendants like valets and...
No, not a waiter. I'm a cashier in that restaurant over there.
Is that one? That one?
Yes,
Are you sure?
quite sure. What is it? What's wrong?
I am late for an important engagement.
An engagement?
Yes,
Some sort of ball or...
yes.
Will I ever see you again?
Perhaps, but the wind may not seize me again. There's a box at the plate and a dinner and, the same all around. Perhaps you notice an automobile waiting at the right end of the car?
And red running gear?
Yes, Pierre waits for me there. He supposes me to be shopping at the department stores across the square. Conceive of the bondage where we must deceive even our own chauffeurs. Good night.
Wait! It's getting dark and the park is full of questionable characters. Can I walk you to...
No! No. If you have the slightest regard for my intentions, you will remain on this bench for 10 minutes after I have left. I do not mean to question your intentions, but I'm sure you understand that autos generally bear the monogram of that of their owner. Again, good night.
Mary Jane? Mary Jane Parker? What on earth are you doing out here? Don't you know what time it is?
To whom are you speaking, madame?
To whom am I? To you. Who do you think, you ninny?
Then I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about.
Your shift started 15 minutes ago. Mr. Witherspoon is in a rage. But if you don't get yourself over there into uniform, he may cut you loose for good.
But
Come on now. I know you can't afford to miss a paycheck.
I don't know what you're talking about. You must have me confused with someone else.
With someone else? Mary Jane Parker, we've known each other for 3 years. We have swapped shifts. Have you been drinking? Why are you wearing this ridiculous hat?
I'm sorry, Mr. Porkenblogger.
Parkenstacker!
Parkenstacker! Parkenstacker?
Yes, Parkenstacker.
As in the Parkenstacker from the society pages?
Society pages?
If only I were so fortunate.
You must excuse me. My chauffeur is waiting.
Your chauffeur? What kind of crazy eggs are you putting on? You've never had a chauffeur in your life. You don't even own an automobile.
I do so.
Since when?
I don't know. You get away from me.
Don't know me. You have been drinking. I'm going to tell your mother.
Wait! You forgot your...
Begging your pardon, sir.
Yes, Henry?
I don't mean to intrude, but your dinner reservation. Shall I cancel or...
No. I'm coming.
Very good, sir. The order was waiting.
maze is amazing, a puzzle with praising. Walls that wind like rivers, when he says that he'll devise something shocking to the eyes. He delivers.
Icarus, the building of the maze is complete.
Yeah, Dad, amazing. He's a genius. As crafts or an artist, my dad is the smartest. At building, he's a master, but as a father, he's a boss. When it comes to me, he's just a disaster.
You're dripping wax all over the place.
It's just wax, Dad.
You know, you could show a little respect. Why must you be so difficult?
I'm 16. You're supposed to be different. What's your point?
I don't have a point.
He's a genius. I'll only play catch up and I'll never match up. I'll always be the lesser. How can I find where I'll fit if the students can't outwit the professor?
Why is it that I can erect this masterpiece, but I don't even know how to talk to my own son? Hey, are you angry with me?
No.
Are you angry with the world?
No.
You know how to talk in complete sentences?
Yep.
You know, I thought the maze would impress you. I have to go.
Well, I actually really like this place.
Thank you.
Yeah, you hit the exit especially well.
The exit. There's no exit.
You mean it's hidden and we just have to find it, right?
No, I mean, I think I forgot to build one.
So then we're trapped here indefinitely.
I thought you liked this place.
Well, then that was before I knew that we were trapped.
All right, I will figure something out.
Is he kidding? We cannot be stuck sure as he built the structure. He was the one to shape it. You look at him so somber now. Maybe he does not know how to escape it.
Oh, not the claustrophobia thing again.
I need air!
There must be a way out of it.
Air, Dad!
Do you mind? I'm trying to think.
Air!
That's it. Air! We'll escape vertically. Oh, Icarus! You're a genius. Like birds of a feather, we'll take off together. Soaring through the sky. You're a genius.
I'm a genius.
He's a genius.
Well, I'm a genius. Let's fly.
You start collecting feathers.
I don't want to find feathers. I want to do the cool stuff. Why don't you ever let me help you?
Oh, Icarus.
You think I'm stupid, don't you? Well, Dad!
No, of course not. You never wanted to help me. You've never taken an interest in my career. Statue by statue, not once did I catch you there saying, hey Dad, look who's here.
I'm ready to be your apprentice.
Icarus! This is momentous.
It didn't really take me to watch you make your statues. It was just hard asking if you wanted my help.
Building a wing together, doing a thing together, starting from scratch. Gathering wood to make a ring, gathering pots to make a hole, hoping they match. Now you get me the largest feather that you can find. And don't touch anything else. Planning a shape together, shaping a plan together, working as one.
Gathering feathers by the bunch, gathering parts to make a whole, getting it done.
Building a wing together.
Hey, Dad, this isn't working.
Sure it is, we're making real progress.
No, you are. I know how to use tools. When I was little, I used to sneak into your toolbox and I'd make things out of your scraps.
I suspected as much.
How?
By the tiny fingerprints you leave on the tools.
Why don't you ever say anything?
Well, tracking my prints was my secret way of watching you grow. When there were no more prints, I assumed you lost your passion for building things.
I never lost my passion. I just couldn't compete with you.
These feathers will never stay down.
Well, we can use the wax from the candles.
Yes, we can.
Surprise.
Impressed.
Building a trust together.
As we adjust together, moving beyond.
Learning that wax will do the trick. Making the feathers firmly stick. Forming a bond. Forming a wing.
Together. Well, looks like we've got a prototype.
Oh, that looks great. But we need 3 more.
We've got time.
Yeah, Dad. We do.
So, have you kissed a girl yet?
Dad!
That qualifies as a father and son topic, no?
Can we just talk about sports?
Well, we could, but that wouldn't be as interesting.
Well, we could talk about girls playing sports.
Girls can't play sports.
Dad. It's possible. Building a bridge between us, a durable bridge between us, seeing it through. Sharing a faith in crafted things, sharing a pride in building wings, sharing the joy that sharing brings, learning to love, building our wings.
They fit.
I'm free, the skies await for me. To meet my fate I'll
They
be.
fit just right.
One with sun and with sea. My path is straight, heaven bound on wings that flee.
Now let's see if he's able to fly. I think it's going to work.
Okay. What's happening?
Just go with the momentum.
Well, I can't, I'm trying. This is such a dumb idea.
It's okay, we can try again tomorrow.
Maybe we should just stay here.
If ever I needed your help, it's now. If ever I needed your strength, it's now. Icarus, I need you more than I've ever needed anyone. But if we fly or if we fall, it doesn't really matter at all. 'Cause here we are. Think of how far we've already flown.
Ready, Dad?